building codes, permits, restrictions, HOAs, minimum square footage requirements. That's what we're talking about today. Here we go. Hey everybody, it's Bo Brotherton with BetterTogetherLife.com. And today we're gonna be going over a topic that we've gotten so many questions about, and I need to be able to make a video. It's about building codes, permits, and restrictions, and minimum square footage, and do you need to have a house on wheels and all that stuff. So that's what we're covering. First thing, I am not an expert on things like this in terms of all nationwide. It's not my expertise. It's not something that I have necessarily studied outside of my own property. So do your own research. Seriously, don't take whatever I'm talking about here today as the written word. It's not. Don't quote me. These are just the rules for my property. Now, the reason why we're able to do a lot of the things that we are doing is because of the property that we bought. The number one thing that I wanted whenever I was looking for property was I wanted unrestricted land, and I wanted to have as much flexibility to do anything and everything that I wanted to do. So a lot of people, the property that they have is within a city. So basically you have a county, and then in the middle of it, you have a city. And right in the dead center of a city, you're in a county. So you have city codes and requirements and permits, and then you also have county codes and requirements and permits. And you have to abide by both of them. That was something I did not want to do. So our property, we are inside the county, but the city is over here. So we're not actually in a city, we're outside of the city limits. So the cool thing is we only have to deal with the county. And that's great, because if we were in the city limits, we would have a lot more restrictions than we currently do. But since we're not in the city limits, we get to do more things. Now, again, like I said, our property is unrestricted. Now, I have contacted our county and went over things like building codes and septic permits. There is not any building codes that I have to adhere to. I don't have to worry about and I don't have to worry about an inspector coming to looking at our shed house or any house that we would do. That's awesome. Like, I just don't have to worry about that. The cool thing is my dad actually is a building inspector for a big city. So he is able to know all the building requirements and codes and everything, and in terms of safety. So I definitely want to do something bad, but I can have my dad come and he can look at everything and tell me, yep, that's up to code, or that's not, little guy. That is something that I want to know, and I want to advise y'all too, that if you haven't bought a property, try to think of some of these things, because the fact that we have the flexibility to convert a shed into a house is the only way that we're able to become mortgage free and be able to do this, because this is such a big thing for us that we want to do for you guys, is to show you how we are converting a shed into a tiny house. It's not tiny, it's just tiny for us because we're gonna have 6 people in it. Anyway, so no building codes. Now, I do need to have a building permit. Basically, the only thing that this is they want a picture on a piece of documented paper of the rectangle of our property. Then they want us to put a little X where the building's gonna be. This is basically just a flood plain permit. The county wants to know, and I spoke to the guy. There's like one guy in the whole department and that he does it all. And I spoke to him and he said, it's so simple, it costs like 50 bucks. And all you have to do is just X marks the spot of where you're gonna put your house so that I know that you're not in a floodplain. And of course, if you've gone and watched our Homestead tour, you know that we're at the top of a hill and there is no way that we are going to get in a floodplain. I mean, we're not anywhere close to a floodplain. So we do need to be able to get the building permit. And the second thing that we need to be able to do is to get a septic system permit. And for me, I don't care about that. Like literally, I'm not one of these guys that is so against the man that I don't want to get a septic system permit. I'm not gonna be doing it myself. I'm gonna be hiring out this to do our septic system. They're gonna be handling the permit and they're gonna make sure that everything is installed properly. So I really don't care about the septic permit. The number one thing that I wanted is no restrictions. That if I want to have a tire obstacle course for my kids right on the county road, I can do that. That I can do anything with my property that I want to do. And then of course with that, we have no minimum requirements to the building that we're gonna have. So no building requirements, super good. If you haven't bought land and this is something that you're thinking of doing, I would highly, highly, highly suggest that you really keep an eye on this. Unrestricted land. Absolutely never buy any right now. I don't care if you're watching this video, then you're learning something about this. Never buy anything inside of an HOA. I cannot stand them. Don't like HOAs. And then do the research on your city and county building codes and make sure that you can do what you want to do. Now, if you currently live in a state that puts all of these requirements and restrictions on you, come to Texas. Walk to freedom. I'm serious, guys. I feel so strongly that if you're in places like Illinois, Ohio, and California, that if this is the life that you want, do some research and listen to Jack Spirko's survival podcast. He's an expert on this. So find a state that you can move to that has the weather that you like, but also doesn't have all of these heavy restrictions, because it really does restrict the quality of freedom and liberty that you're able to have. Hey, if you can, do me a favor, check out the links below. I'm gonna have a link to our Better AMZ Amazon site. It doesn't cost you a thing. You go to betteramz.com and then you click on any of the links or the top banner, and it'll take you straight to Amazon, and then that shopping is good for 24 hours. And it would help us out to be able to get going on our homestead faster, to be able to get all the swales built so that I can help and share that with you. Also, I'm gonna put a link to our brand new Patreon account below. We're excited about that. Thank you, Melissa, for pushing us over the edge to be able to do this. And then there'll also be some links to our website down there below that you can check us out. So guys, thank you again for this, and we'll see you next time. Bye.